Hey, good morning. How you guys? Um, well, good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, we're here in where are we? Snowy Campbell River on a Saturday morning. What day is it? God knows. The 13th. Yes. So um, I sat down today to do something, and like it's and I had no idea what to share today, no idea what to share, and so this whole thing, most of my theme in my shares is about recovery or about awakening, and awakening from our crazy thinking, in the recovery program, in the 12-step program. There's it's a spiritually based program. It is a spiritual program. The primary purpose of the program is to help people create a relationship with a higher power. Period. That's the primary purpose. Is to so in that, with that relationship, we find freedom. We experience a shift of context for life. Literally, we recognize that we didn't come here in fear. We didn't come here to try and build empires or get whatever, the confusing thought that many of us have had. So in step two, it says we came to believe in a power greater than ourselves that could restore us to sanity. And often in the 12 steps, it talks about God, and it talks about universal intelligence. It talks about, there's many concepts. There's actually 16 different concepts for God. But here's the deal. I struggled for many, many years. And this is, I just want to share with you that if you're somebody who said, okay, look, I don't understand God. I don't know that there's a God. But recognize that many of us were giving a concept of God in our childhood that we're still saddled with. And that concept was a concept of a separate God, of a God, that we had to gain favor with, or we had to appease, and often we had lots of judgment about that separate God that, we got a Sunday school idea of. And our judgment was that, well, if there was a natural catastrophe, that couldn't have been, we would make a judgment that couldn't have been God's will, and so we separated things. And if things went well, if our political party won, well, that must have been God's will. And so everything was based on what we thought was good or bad or right or wrong, and we didn't, we were stuck in a delusion that we needed to. We were stuck in a delusion that somehow that this universal intelligence, this higher power, was separate from us. So, does anybody relate to that? That we were, sometimes we found ourselves praying to something, as if we needed a favor, and we would ask for that favor. We would say, God, help me with this one, and I promise I'll never come back again, whatever. I'll do. Let's make a deal prayers, and so our concept of God, our power, higher powers, we understood him, was kept us separate. Does that make sense? Kept us separate. We didn't, it wasn't, we weren't able to see how we were one with that. And now Bill Wilson, who was the one of the co-founders of AA in the 30s, when they wrote the book, which was titled Alcoholics Anonymous, which ended up being the title of our fellowship, in the book he said that in We Agnostics, it's a great chapter because it goes in depth. It's a full chapter really around step two, and it goes in depth. And I think that many people don't get recovery because they can't, their concept is too separate. And he said God either is or he isn't. Either he's everything or he's nothing. And if you go into that one statement, if you look in that one statement deeply, what does that mean? If he's everything, then we don't really have to look for it, him, it, that, whatever, because we can't even speak of it because it's everything. It's, and so it's not separate. It's only separate when we're in our ego. If we recognize that God is, let's call it love. Let's say God is love. Oh my gosh, okay. So what is love? Love is everything. Love heals, love creates, love. We have no trouble with that. That word love. Love isn't something that we get. It isn't something that we give. It's something that we are. And the same with this God business. So, if we could possibly just let go of any concepts and stop long enough, through meditation to drop in, and and as we drop in, and we start to see that we are one with that. We are one with that, and we are in a unique position. In on the planet, like wow, what a unique position. I don't think there are any other animals or beings, we don't know, of course, but that are self-aware and can actually feel the presence, experience, God, if you will, godliness, you know, and but we can have that, that like, and it's when it happens, and it can't happen. It's funny, we can't find it by looking for it because it isn't somewhere else. But when the realization seems to come when we let go of all of the things we think we are, when we let go of concepts about ourselves that separate us, so many of us think that, we have to become something to be, that's it, our life's work, to become something. We already are something. There is nothing to become. We are that. So through sitting, through recognizing that I don't understand it anymore why it's such a struggle, because but then again, I look at the 40 years that I struggled with it, and didn't know that what I was looking for I already was. I guess that I see, and but now as I look around me, and I see, a lot of folks, and I wondering or trying to figure out. We can't really figure it out. It already is, and you are that. So, drop the concepts and recognize that there is no separation. We are that. We are one. There is, and we have, such amazing opportunities and possibilities here. All right. I think sometimes I go too far when I talk like this, and hopefully, I'd love to hear what you think. How is it going? How are your how is the realization that you are that coming? Are you on that path? Have you asked that question? Who am I? Ask the question, who am I? I don't care where you are. If you're sitting in a jail cell, I don't care, if you're in such trauma, that your health is poor. I don't care, how great or troubling your situation is, right? Just stop for a moment and say, okay, who am I? Who am I? Am I this situation in my life? We identify, we attach to, and identify with the events and the situations. I did for years, for years. I used to have a friend, Kenny, would say, David, you're not your business. Yeah, but, I was so attached. Wow. It was just crazy. But I had to, I guess, have that attachment, and I got so attached in relationships, looking for it outside of me, whatever this peace, this oneness outside of me. I got attached to, you know, ideas or visions of the future. So I don't care what situation you're in, you can stop right now and ask the question, who am I? Go deep, really sit quietly with it. Who am I? Okay? I wrote today, I'm going to read it. I don't know. It just came through me. It really did. I sat down and I said, yes, I struggled for years with developing a relationship with a higher power, somewhat hamstrung with the belief that there was an objective being that was God, something separate, that sat in judgment, that may or may not help out depending on my motives, which, in my personal judgment, were never good enough. And this being was often credited with what I thought was good or right, and events that were deemed by me to be evil or super hurtful could not have been in God's plan. So I had all these judgments about God and all these ideas and concepts of, that kept me basically separate. This being was often credited with what I thought was good or right. Okay. So I was always separate, trying to manage and somehow deserve God's favor, right? And I don't care how much bravado people put on when they're in ego and they're and we all have this idea of God, and we're all somehow hoping for that God will intervene in our behalf, because we see God as a separate thing, and it's crazy. um, it doesn't even matter if you say you don't believe it, because I don't believe you don't believe. There's always this hope, or this idea that there's something else out there besides you or me that can either sway things in our favor or not. And that's an alternate power, a higher power. Call it what you want. And I think that many of us, the whole world has got stuck in this idea, and thinks that we're separate from, and that we need that favor, and anyway, uh, in my time working with others, I see this misinformed belief often, and most cannot articulate what's happening, so they do not have the words. So that's what happens lots of times with newcomers. We kind of skip by the God thing because we don't have the ability to discuss it, you know, like we're doing right now. We don't have this ability, and I didn't have it for years. I didn't know how to, because my belief was so limited, you know. Um, for years, I was in the same boat, staying in the prison of my limited beliefs. I still feel clumsy carrying the message that we all are already that which we look for, and that any belief or concept blocks us from that realization. Wow, what a mouthful, I said. We are together now. So that's my thing today, and I don't know, but I do know. Okay, it seems to. I feel like I just want to share with you that doing this, for years, I would argue with this universal intelligence, I can't do this. I don't know enough. I'm not a theologian, what do I know? All of those things, which were kept me separate. And so this is my calling. It really is. So, um, I appreciate you being here, and I'd love it if, we share the message a bit. And I don't know, I have left a lot of this, all of it, really, up to universal intelligence. It's not, I can't direct this. It's just coming through, and so thanks for being with us, and you know, for allowing me to share. Okay, where am I? Almost quit right there. I got to read this book. I read this every day. This is the 13th of February. Oh my gosh, 13th of February, the day before Valentine's. Can you imagine? Um, what is that? But the love day. The love day. We're in the love day. Valentine's. Anyway, love, love, love. Let's look at it that way. And love has nothing to do whether we have a partner or not. Okay? It isn't about partners. We are all partnered. We are all one. Okay, so we don't need to say, oh, it's not a very good Valentine's Day. I don't have a partner. Okay, February 13th. Thought for the day. Sometimes it says we can't help thinking, why can't we ever drink again? Well, remember, this is a 12-step based, and it's talking about recovery from addiction. We know it because we're alcoholics. And for me, what I see alcoholism is the ism, the crazy thinking, not the drinking. Um, but they did, but why did we have to get that way? The answer is that at some time in our drinking careers, we passed what we called our tolerance point, or the invisible line. When we passed this point, we passed from a condition in which we could tolerate alcohol to a condition in which we could not tolerate it at all. After that, we took one drink and we would sooner or later end up drunk. When I think of liquor now, I think of it as something that I can never tolerate again. But, I never think of it actually, but, like I literally don't think of alcohol and drugs as it just doesn't come up for me. But if it comes up for you and you're part of the 12-step world, recognize that, yeah, you're finished that. Right, Chris? We finished that. That's done. By God's grace. And when I say God's grace, it almost already sounds separate, but we're living in God's grace. We just have to step out of the road and let it lead us. Oh, meditation of the day. In a race, oh my gosh, in a race, it is when the goal is in sight that heart and nerves and muscles and courage are strained almost to the breaking point. So, with us, the goal of the spiritual life is in sight. All we need is the final effort. The saddest records made by men are those who ran well, with brave and stout hearts until the sight of the goal, and then some weakness or some self-indulgence held them back. They never knew how near the goal they were, or how near they were to victory. So, again, in the 12 steps, we talk about the same thing. God, consciousness, we become aware of this in our life on it's basically the same thing that I'm sharing, every day, is that we are that. I pray that I may press on until the goal is reached. I pray that I may not give up in the final stretch. I pray for you all on that. I really do. Okay, you guys, we're going to do a little meditation, and thank you. I'd love you to join me for that. Yeah. Okay. So just take a couple of minutes, like really literally, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to drop in. So get comfortable, and we're going to drop into this space, right? We're going to be here now. I know that sounds so cliche, but that's it. It's only in this moment. And we have to let go of everything to be here. Just, let go of all ideas and all concepts and all plans just for the moment. We can pick them up later. Let go of any future, what's next. There is no next. There's just now. Any idea of the past. Any thought of man or woman or father or mother or son or daughter. Any thought of nationality or race or preferences or language, or just drop it all. Just feel it as it kind of leaves your body, and we're just here in this nothingness, becoming nothing, becoming no one. And as we let go of all that, we become more conscious of our oneness. We're already that oneness. We become conscious of that oneness. So just let it go. Drop it. Right here, right now. So we breathe. And we breathe. Breath brings us into the moment. Let go. The breath brings us into the moment. Here we are. If thoughts come, just gently, just let them go. You can pick them up later. We cannot not think, so it's okay. What we can do, though, is not give them any energy. That is within our possibility. Our realm is to just not give them any energy. And eventually they'll soften and quiet. Drop in. Be here now. Okay. Just come back when you're ready. Come back gently. Just come back gently. Wow. If you feel like continuing, just stay in this state. Just stay in this calmness, this oneness. No need to come out of it. Stay as long as you can and just watch as all of the identity drops away. The whole universe is inside of you. You are inside of it, and it is inside of you. So feel that, be that. Okay, guys, thank you. I'll just kind of gently move off. Love it if you check us out on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube. It's my little project. Thank you. Love you. Bye.